If you value your money and your wrist, you're going to want to stay tuned. Today, we're exposing the 3 watches that you should absolutely avoid at all costs. Trust me, you won't want to be seen wearing any of these fashion faux pas. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button if you want more insider tips on what to wear and what to leave behind. 1. The Nixon Time Teller. Let's kick things off with our first contestant, the Nixon Time Teller. This watch dares to redefine oversized. You might think, what's wrong with a little extra flair? But let me tell you, this isn't flair, it's a dinner plate on your wrist. Appearance and design. Picture this, you're glancing at your wrist, and you have to turn your entire arm just to see the time. The Nixon Time Teller comes with a massive, almost cartoonish face that can only be described as distracting. Fashion experts have characterized it as clunky and oversized, which makes it a poor choice for anyone who values subtle style. With a case diameter that often approaches 40 and beyond, it's a watch that could easily double as a shield against projectiles. And let's not even start on the strap options. Selection ranges from classic leather to vibrant rubber, but the overall effect remains the same: bulky, oversized, and awkwardly conspicuous. Functionality issues. Now you might ask, but what about the functionality? Well, that's where it gets even murkier. Because the face is so large, reading the time can become a task in itself. The hour and minute hands seem more like elaborate decorations than functional components. You might find yourself squinting just to confirm whether it's an hour or a half past. Not exactly the easiest way to check the time, right? In the real world, practicality is key. Imagine wearing this watch while out with friends. You go to glance at your wrist, only to find that the sheer size has knocked over a drink or two. Not only does it attract unwanted attention, but you'll also become a hazard in your social circles. Social implications. Oversized watches can often project a certain image, a loud one at that. Instead of exuding sophistication, they can give off a vibe of desperation, as if trying too hard to be a statement piece. In styles where minimalism is in vogue, wearing something as ostentatious as the Nixon Time Teller could leave others questioning your fashion sense, possibly even raising eyebrows. Expert opinions. Fashion critics and watch enthusiasts alike have voiced their criticisms. Many agree that the Nixon Time Teller falls flat in both the elegance and practicality departments. They often suggest that less is more when it comes to personal style. A well-proportioned watch can enhance your outfit without becoming the centerpiece in a negative way. 2. Richard Mille RM5060 to Sapphire Tourbillon. Now on to our second contestant, the Richard Mille RM5060 to Sapphire Tourbillon. Taking luxury to a whole new level, this watch is made from sapphire crystal. Yes, you heard that right, a beautiful yet highly vulnerable material. Luxury and price tag. Selling for a staggering $2 million, this timepiece undoubtedly catches eyes, but not for the right reasons when you consider practicality. The sheer audacity of spending that much on a watch raises eyebrows, particularly when you think about what that money could do elsewhere. Now let's dive into why you should think twice. The Richard Mille RM5602 is pretty to look at, no doubt, but wearing it, now that's a different story. The case is made almost entirely from sapphire, which means it's susceptible to scratches and breaks. You better treat it like fine china because one wrong move and you'll find yourself with a costly repair bill, or worse, a shattered dream on your wrist. Imagine this. You're headed to a rooftop party and want to show off your new toy. Halfway through the evening, a small bump with a chair or the bar top, or even a flick of your wrist could leave you heartbroken. Not exactly an ideal scenario for a watch that's considered an investment, right? Style over functionality. Yes, it's a conversation starter. However, the questions surrounding it might turn to warnings about care and handling. Owning such a piece swiftly becomes less about wrist convenience and more about being excessively cautious. The thrill of wearing it could quickly be overshadowed by the anxiety of maintaining it in pristine condition. Glimmers of envy might raise from onlookers, but trust me, you'll be more concerned with how you'll keep it safe rather than flaunting it. Wearing the RM5602 is like owning a race car but never taking it out for a spin. You might have the admiration, but it ceases to fulfill its purpose. Poignant opinions. Luxury watch aficionados and collectors, rather than proclaiming this to be a triumph of engineering, have voiced alternative opinions. Many believe that it is more an art installation than a functional watch, a display of wealth that doesn't translate to everyday use. When a watch becomes too delicate for real life, it becomes a questionable investment. 3. Diesel overflow. Finally, we have the diesel overflow, a watch that's about as complex as a Rubik's Cube. With so many dials and buttons, you'll find yourself asking, am I wearing a watch, or do I have an alien device strapped to my wrist? Overly complicated design. The diesel overflow is a prime example of what happens when design goes awry. Instead of crafting a watch that's chic and functional, Diesel has gone for over-the-top, with a heavy, multi-layered dial that seems more of a burdensome maze than a simple time-telling device. Weight and burden. This watch weighs down your wrist, and if you're anything like me, you appreciate the freedom that comes with a lightweight watch. The overflow makes you feel like you're carrying a small weightlifting set everywhere you go. And let's be honest, to wear a watch that feels like a small anchor is just plain unnecessary. Who wants to lift weights on their wrist while also trying to tell time? Then there's the deciphering of its various features. You might have a chronograph, but good luck figuring out how to operate it without a manual. If it takes longer to read the time than to enjoy your drink, you're doing it wrong. In fact, the overflow often requires a detailed handbook just to navigate through its myriad capabilities. Imagine impressing someone with your super advanced watch only to struggle publicly when trying to showcase its pearls of features. You may find yourself looking ridiculous instead of appearing resourceful. Rarely do you find a watch that receives unanimous negative reviews, but the diesel overflow manages to attract such disdain across forums and watch communities. Fashionistas have branded it impractical, while watch enthusiasts often shake their heads in dismay. If a watch cannot serve its primary purpose efficiently, what hope does it have to appeal to a practical market? I've given you a close look at 3 watches you should absolutely avoid if you value style, functionality, and most importantly, your wallet. 1. Nixon Time Teller, an oversized monstrosity with a design that simply doesn't work. 2. Richard Mille RM5602, an artwork that's far too fragile for real life. 3. Diesel Overflow, an overly complicated device that turns watch wearing into an obstacle course. In today's world, purchasing a watch can be an investment, but not all investments are sound ones. It's essential to evaluate not only the aesthetics but also the functionality. A good watch should enhance your style, be comfortable on your wrist, and tell the time, without requiring you to adjust your daily routine. So next time you're in the market for a timepiece, take a moment to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, does this watch truly serve its purpose, or is it just a fleeting fashion trend that will leave you looking awkward? Remember, watches are meant to be a blend of art, craftsmanship, and practicality. Don't settle for less. Do your homework, evaluate your options, and invest wisely. What do you think about these watches? Have you ever made a regrettable watch purchase? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more watch wisdom. Thank you for tuning in, and remember to stay timeless.